world that nature has to offer in one lifetime. What a dream! To travel freely into the home of the wild ones, to live with them, to become so accepted by them that they hardly notice that you're there. That is not only my dream, that's my goal. I'm wildlife photographer Bill Porter, and I'll take you there.
I walked on the mountain down by the sea, where I saw men share this world with me. We share this world with wild ones, that's the way it's meant to be. We're also meant to save them, that's the power in you and me. I wandered down the valley, crossed to the other shore. There's wildlife all around us, birds and bees and so much more. We're always going to take some, that's the way it's meant to be. We're also meant to save them, that's the power in you and me. Well, I woke up to the sunrise, stood there at sunset too. Still I saw the wild ones, wish you had been there too. For with one touch of nature, the whole world had become kin. This message all around us, that's the way it's always been.
Wildlife Unlimited Foundation, thanking you for doing your part to keep our wildlife unlimited. I'm wildlife photographer Bill Porter, and I'll take you there. Sometimes they're cute. Sometimes they're beautiful. Other times they're simply amazing. But it's always exciting in the wonderful world of the wild ones. I'm wildlife photographer Bill Porter, and I'll take you there. Sometimes they're cute. Sometimes they're beautiful. Other times they're simply amazing. But it's always exciting in the wonderful world of the wild ones. Protection, that's the key word. Even babies of the strongest animals in the wild are vulnerable when they are young. Protection by their parents is essential. Coka would put Igmu-Tonka in hiding and leave. He was to stay until she returned. Coka would tell Tonka when he could play. At first, this was a game, but later, it would mean life or death for Igmu-Tonka. When it was time to go, Coka would call, and if Tonka wanted to play more, she would not call again. She would go after him and let him know that she meant what she said. Soon, Coka could leave Tonka anywhere, and he would stay hidden until she returned. This was becoming more important as Coka had to travel farther for food, and she would move Tonka great distances, then leave him hidden as she hunted. Coka caught the faint scent of a squirrel. He was here, but where? Coka returned to Tonka after the hunt, fed and played with him. This play had a hidden purpose. Tonka was learning how to fight with his prey. As the last hot days of summer were coming to an end, all the animals kept cool any way they could. Just rolling around in the cool grass helped, unless they started a fight. Then it was better to move to the nearby water. Snow can come to the high country at any time, and it is not uncommon for several inches to fall overnight, only to melt within a day or so. Coka would have stayed up here, but Tonka had been born too late in the year and was still too young for all this wet and cold. She would lead him down the mountain where summer had changed to fall and would change to winter much later when Igmu-Tonka was older. Tonka could not know it was urgent for him to move down to warmer and drier places. To him, this new world was fun and exciting. Tonka found a great place to rest, but Coka wanted him to move on. Fresh scent and some new tracks was a brief distraction as Coka prodded him on. Cougar remained in the high country. After all, the snows meant that all animals had to slow down. This made the hunting much easier for the mountain lion, because they ambush their prey and must catch it within a short distance. Other predators, like the coyotes, follow the movement of the mountain lion. They know that much is left for the scavengers when the big cats move on. Sometimes the coyotes moved in too soon. They were much too fast for Coka to catch, of course, but she could not tolerate their presence when she was waiting in ambush. She would have to chase them away. Mountain lions have very little stamina, but they are extremely fast for a short run. They also can turn almost in their own tracks and continue the chase without losing speed. This turn is made possible by dropping their strong, long tail and using it as a rudder. Mountain lions can only run fast for a short sprint, after which they need to rest for the next chase. Tonka was big enough to be close to Coka, but not in on the chase. He would just wait where she left him until she returned. Coka was a good hunter, and there was always plenty of food. Sometimes Coka would still bring the food back to Tonka, but more and more Coka would call to Tonka and have him come to the kill site to eat while she watched over him. Coka would stand guard, knowing the impatient coyotes and other scavengers wouldn't wait for Tonka to eat. With his mother there, all the coyotes could do, while Tonka indulged his appetite, was whine and complain. Coka spent most of her time waiting in ambush. Tonka too waited, but now he waited on a perch, copying his mother's style of hunting. They traveled together, and as much as possible by water. All animals need water, so the two patrolled the banks of the many mountain streams in the area. The lazy days of fall blended one into another as Coka continued to teach Tonka the ways of the wild. Cougar stalked the snow-covered mountaintops, up near the tree line, and below into the trees and rocks, far away from Coka and Tonka. Cougar, like all male mountain lions, leads a solitary life, living alone, except for the brief mating ritual, that is. More snow was falling in the high country, and as it did, it covered the ground lower down through the valleys. The mountain streams seemed to be rushing, cascading down ever bigger waterfalls, trying to get as much water down the mountain as possible before they froze over. As sure as day turns into night, the winds will blow the winter in and the temperatures will fall. When dawn turns into day, the lakes and streams will have frozen over. The snow-covered peaks seem to rise even higher with their white silhouette against the tree line. Winter has come to all of this mountain range. But winter did not bring any hardships for Coka or Tonka, for now Tonka was older and able to take the cold. Coka could hunt much easier in the snow that had slowed her prey. This left even more time for play that would teach Tonka the art of stalking and the chase. In the past, many people referred to these beautiful cats by many names. Several of these still persist. In the mountains, they are called mountain lions. In the flatland forest, they are known as cougars. The same species of cat, but somewhat smaller in the Florida Everglades, is called a puma. But still, I like the name Igmu-Tonka. This big cat has been known by that name by the South Dakota Indians for many years. Tonka stands for buffalo, Igmu for cat. With just one look at these magnificent animals, you know how they got their name. Buffalo cat. Usually, the big pads on her feet, as well as the hair between her toes, help Coka stay on top of the snow. But the thin crust of ice would not hold her 160 pounds as she cautiously moved down the slope and into a large hardwood area. As even more snows came, Tonka would stalk Coka. He needed to learn all he could from his mother. Three years later, by the waterfall where it all began, Tonka reigned supreme over all of his mountain. And the Wildlife Unlimited Foundation, thanking you for doing your part to keep our wildlife unlimited.
On land and underwater, sportsman and photographer Bill Porter with son John and family invite you all to join them at a spot in the country where we hope to see some wildlife still run free. We'll go hunting, climbing, fishing, diving, see things that help to set the spirit free. We might take some of the surplus that the good Lord has provided, always mindful of the sportsman's creed. So the wildlife we all love remains unlimited. Oh, Bill and Rose and little John, who's grown to be a man, will show you through a camera's eye wonders of the land. You might camp with them by mountain streams or run barefoot in the sand. But wherever you go, recall the creed, keep the wildlife unlimited. For a sportsman's more than just a hunter or a fisherman. There's things to see to all the mind of many a mortal man. From the way the wild protect their young to canyons carved in sand. Oh, don't take them all as you recall. We're for Wildlife Unlimited. Yes, Bill and Rose and Little John, who's grown to be a man, will show you through a camera's eye wonders of the land. You might camp with them by mountain streams or run barefoot in the sand. But wherever you go, recall the creed, keep the wildlife unlimited. Wherever you go, recall that creed, keep the wildlife unlimited.